Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Kryjer Knowledge podcast. Now, this is a new podcast. Don't worry, Bryce and I are still working on the Brothers of Broad Street podcast. We'll actually be dropping a new episode tomorrow night. We'll break down the NBA Finals and the offseason plans for all the Philly sports teams, and we'll even talk about the Phillies. But this show, Kryjer Knowledge, is completely different, and this is just going to talk about movie reviews, book reviews, health and fitness tips that I pick up along the way. We'll also talk some sports, obviously some trivia, and then we'll finish off with a quote of the day. These episodes are going to be short, sweet, and I hope you guys enjoy. So to start off, I don't know how you guys spent your Memorial Day weekend, but last night I saw the new Top Gun Maverick movie. It was absolutely incredible. Yes, there's some movies out there that people over exaggerate and hype up way too much, but not this movie. This movie from start to finish was phenomenal. And it doesn't matter if you haven't seen the first movie, Top Gun, that came out in the 80s. This movie did such a good job of informing people, new viewers, of what happened in the old one, and it made a nice transition to the new one. The movie obviously stars Tom Cruise, John Hamm, Miles Teller, and several other actors and actresses that I've seen in several different movies and shows. But it's definitely one of the greatest movies I've seen in a long, long time. I know Spider-Man No Way Home, when that came out, that was very good. But I got to say, this movie beats it. I know it's like breaking records right now in terms of the amount of money it's bringing in for the first weekend. It's definitely one of those movies that you have to see in theaters. Do not wait until you can watch it at home. You have to be in a theater to see this movie. Here's some of my key takeaways from Top Gun. Number one, after watching that movie, I feel like I can fly an F-18. I mean, when they were breaking it down and going through the fight scenes and the flight scenes, it was just incredible. Going through the training, I felt like Tom Cruise was teaching me how to fly. Number two, Penny to Maverick is the new Adrian to Rocky Balboa. Obviously, you guys will have to watch the movie to see what I'm talking about, but that's my second takeaway. And my third takeaway, this movie will be talked about for years to come. 10, 20 years now, people will be talking about how great this movie is and how it's a must-see. So I don't know if you guys have time this week or this weekend. If your family's not doing anything, definitely go check out Top Gun Maverick in theaters before it's too late. I promise you, it will not disappoint. All right, for the next segment, we'll do some trivia. First question. Who hit 2 home runs and threw a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds in 1971? Once again, who hit 2 home runs and threw a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds in 1971? Now, I won't give you guys this answer on the show right now. I'll wait till the next episode to give you guys the answer. So just to follow up, question number one, who hit 2 home runs and threw a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds in 1971? Question number two, how many baseballs could Johnny Bench hold in one hand? How many baseballs could Johnny Bench hold in one hand? Now, for those of you who don't know who Johnny Bench is, he was a Hall of Fame catcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Hopefully that gives you a little bit better idea of how many baseballs he can actually hold. All right, the third and final question for tonight's show. Name the 4 NFL players who have won consecutive Super Bowls for 2 different teams and actually played in that Super Bowl. All right, so these players played on one team and won a Super Bowl, and then the following year they played on a different team and won another Super Bowl, but they also played in that Super Bowl. They didn't just player/coach or help run the team. Name the 4 NFL players who have won consecutive Super Bowls with 2 different teams and actually played in those Super Bowls. It's a pretty tough question. To give you guys a hint, 2 of the players are a little bit more recent, and the other 2 played several years ago. All right, the third and final segment of the first episode of Kryjer Knowledge, the NBA Finals. All right, this Thursday at 9 o'clock, the Warriors and the Celtics begin Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I think this is going to be a great series from start to finish. I have this game going I have this series going 7 games. Personally, I have the Celtics winning. I know the Warriors have had a great year. Some of their players have really stepped up in terms of Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. But this Celtics team, I mean, you got to look at the Eastern Conference and the teams they had to beat just to get to where they are. They took down the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Then they beat the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously with Giannis. And then they just got done beating the Miami Heat. And Jimmy Butler, I've never seen him play better. He was phenomenal in the entire series. I know he was hurt a couple games there, but I mean, he had the historic performance in Game 6, and then Game 7 he followed it up with another 35-point performance. But the Celtics defense is looking phenomenal. Obviously, they're being led by Marcus Smart, the Defensive Player of the Year. Tatum and Brown really put it together. So I like their chances heading into the NBA Finals. With that, I'm going to rank my top 5 players for this NBA Finals. All right. Number 1, I have Jason Tatum. Now, I know some of you guys might be saying Steph Curry's the best. And in terms of overall career, yes, Steph Curry's obviously better than Jason Tatum. But right now, this season, this series, Jason Tatum is playing better than Steph Curry. So far this postseason, Tatum has averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists on 44% shooting. Curry has been averaging 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists on 45% shooting. Also, I trust Tatum's defense much more than I trust Steph Curry's defense. So I have Tatum at number 1. Number 2, I have Steph Curry. Yes, I know in the past, people said he really hasn't stepped up in the playoffs or in the finals, but I don't think that's true. I think he's had stellar performances in the playoffs. Listen, that first finals they won back in 2015, when they beat the Cavs and Andre Iguodala won the NBA Finals MVP, Curry had a great series as well. It just so happened that Iguodala was covering LeBron that entire series, and he came away with the trophy. And then the 2 years that they won with Durant, nobody played better than Durant. Durant was just phenomenal. So obviously he was going to get the MVP there. And listen, I do have the Celtics winning, but if the Warriors win, I predict Steph Curry to win the Finals MVP. All right, so number 1, I got Jason Tatum. Number 2, Steph Curry. Number 3, in terms of the top 5 players heading into this series, Jaylen Brown. He's averaging 23, 7, and 3 on 48% shooting. Listen, I know in the beginning of the year, the Celtics, they were in a mess. They didn't know their identity. A lot of the players were playing individual basketball, but they had that meeting. They were able to bring it together. And Tatum and Brown have turned themselves into one of the best duos in the NBA. Number 4, Marcus Smart. Obviously, Defensive Player of the Year. He will guard Steph Curry this series, no doubt. He's averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. Listen, Smart, although he's defensive minded and he's the Defensive Player of the Year, he could also go out there and get you 20, 25 points. He can catch fire at any point, and he could definitely help the Celtics get a boost on the offensive end. And number 5, for the top 5 players in this finals, number 5, I have Draymond Green. Draymond Green, obviously, was a former Defensive Player of the Year. He's averaging 9.7 assists and 6 rebounds. He's always a threat for a triple-double. Obviously, he's the facilitator on this Golden State team, so look for him to get everybody involved this series. I don't expect him to guard Tatum this series. I think that the Warriors are going to play it similar to how they faced the Mavericks. I think that Andrew Wiggins, a little bit of Draymond Green, maybe Looney will all cover Tatum at different points and times to give him different looks and maybe slow down the Celtics offense. But I think that Draymond will be down low covering Al Horford. The matchup between Marcus Smart and Steph Curry, to me, obviously that head-to-head is going to be awesome because I think that if Marcus Smart can slow down Steph Curry, it's going to be very challenging for the Warriors to get some offense going. Also, when Steph Curry and Jordan Poole are out there, and say Marcus Smart's covering Steph Curry, one of those two guys have to cover Marcus Smart on the defensive end. So that's going to be tough for them. So hopefully they can step up defensively to help out the Warriors. Like I said, this series is going 7. I think it's going to be a great series. But I do have the Celtics winning, just what they've done over the course of the postseason by shutting down Durant, Kyrie, holding Giannis in check, and then obviously beating Miami with the way Butler performed. I think that the Celtics go into this series and lock Steph up, hold Clay. Oops, sorry about that. They hold Clay in check and come away with the series win, and they're your NBA Finals champions. My quote of the day. Listen, I want to start out with these quote of the days because they help me. Obviously, they give me inspiration to keep going and to, achieve something that I want to achieve or focus on something for the day. They just put my mind in a good frame. But here's a quote from a book that was one of my favorites of all time. Top 5, maybe even number 1. It's from my favorite actor, Matthew McConaughey. If you haven't read his book, Green Lights, yet, definitely order it on Amazon tonight. Definitely get the book because he's got so many quotes, so many life stories, experiences that give you a new perspective of life. And, I read it in 3 days. I read it so fast. I couldn't put it down. It was literally one of those books that you could not put down. And here's my favorite quote from that book. Life is our resume. It is our story to tell. And the choices we make write the chapters. I'll repeat for you guys to hear. Life is our resume. It is our story to tell. And the choices we make write the chapters. This quote resonated with me because just graduating college, obviously, it's important to grow your resume, grow your network, and show companies who you are. But it's also important to grow your life resume. Don't forget that. Don't forget to build on your experiences, meet new people, learn different things, different skills, because at the end, when you look back, you want to have something to be proud about. And that's what Matthew McConaughey talks in his book. He's like, you want to be able to look forward to looking back. That was his line after this quote. So once again, life is our resume. It is our story to tell, and the choices we make write the chapters. I want to thank you all for listening to the first episode of the Kryjer Knowledge podcast. We'll be uploading these episodes weekly, maybe even bi-weekly, or maybe even 2 a week. But yes, thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next episode so you guys can get the answers to the trivia question, hear a new quote of the day, and get some new information. All right, have a good one.